fishing, it's in my soul.
Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Got him. There we are.
Oh, Luke's on. Sheepshead strong, baby.
Let's see. Yep, sheepy.
We're here on a pretty pretty bad weather day.
Should we get that net? We'll get this puppy in. Got some dinner tonight.
Bringing up the net. Oh yeah, nice one. There it is.
Take it.
And check out what's in his mouth. Which one is that? Which crab?
That is the crusty crab.
The old
from
crusty
Chase
crab.
Baits. Lift this guy up so you can
this
see
over.
what's
So
up.
if you're just tuning in here, we're out in the water. Got our rain jackets on. It's been kind of a tough day overall, and we're doing a little test on which ones of these little artificial crabs work best. We start off with Cranka Crab. That's one with the 2 treble hooks.
Yeah, which we have up front.
Still not really sure about that one, Cody, and that's the most expensive one. If you check out this bad boy, it's got little treble hooks on each side. It actually looks good in the water, but what is it, $14?
Yeah, it was like either $12 or $14. I can't remember. It was expensive. The most expensive one on the boat, for sure.
So we've got Cranka, we got Chase Baits,
Put this guy on ice.
and we got Denna. And we're just going after these little pilings here in residential canals, tossing it as close as you can, letting it sink down, and then waiting on the bite. Oh, I see one down there. I see another one down there. Let's see if he comes after it. Oh, ooh, I just got a little tap. Oh, dang. Thought I was gonna have back-to-back docks here. It's interesting, some of these docks, you can see the little barnacles and all the stuff at the top. It's a little bit low tide and actually not much movement at all right now. We're trying to hit these docks that have a lot of. Hey, look, you got the trolling motor controller, and we are heading closer and closer to complete impact. If you guys are just now tuning in, we're about to get really close and personal with another dock. All I'm doing, if you watch this crab just sink down, trying to let it sink down to the bottom, keeping somewhat of a taut line because the bite happens really quick. You let too much line out, you completely miss it. And if you have it too taut, you don't get down to the bottom. Oh, scraping on top of the piling. Man, look at all the mullet down there. You see the mullet, Cody? On the back of that sailboat. So now we got sailboat structure and pilings. It's crazy how well these little artificial crabs work. Yeah, we were quite skeptical at first.
Yeah, I was very skeptical. In many cases, I catch more with this than the live crabs. Just and you don't get nothing really else eats them. Like I've caught some grouper and like little snapper and pinfish kind of peck at it, but it's rare that it's a sheepshead probably 99% of the time. And it's not a small one. The small sheepshead don't. The undersized ones don't mess with it.
Ooh, some bait over here.
So most of them are the 15 to 17 plus inch.
Yeah, so there's 3 main manufacturers. We got Savage?
Yeah, Savage Gear,
which is the cheapest, or I want to say cheapest, least expensive. Then we have Chase Baits, Australian brand, who now has a U.S. division. And then we have the most expensive of all.
the Cranka.
The Cranka Crab. Also, I believe from Australia, right?
Yeah.
Cranka?
Yep.
These guys are cranking out some good lures. Man, there's a ton of mullet underneath these docks. You should be able to come back here and catch some mullet.
So now that we're on the board, I'm gonna switch over to the Cranka Crab. This is that real expensive one. I'll just show you what this thing is. I'm a little bit leery throwing this around docks because it has 2 treble hooks on there, and it's $12+. but it looks lifelike. Those little claws are made of foam, so they float, and has like a nice little, it looks like a scared crab. At least I believe it will to a fish. We will see. I've used it a little bit. I don't really like how it casts, because it kind of catches the wind, and it'll go to the right, to the left. Sometimes you never really know. But it's all about, does it catch fish or not?
Is that kind of the excuse when you make a bad cast?
Yeah, so that's the good thing. I can
Always the lure's fault.
have a good excuse. Yeah, darn lure.
See what I'm doing? I'm slowly going up and then letting it drop a little bit. Trying to entice the bite of a gorgeous sheepy. Nothing.
Yeah, and so far our bites have been, is that one over there on that piling? No. So we've actually been doing a lot of sight fishing. So the sheepshead will basically feed off the barnacles and stuff on the pilings.
Sorry, where are you? Oh, gotcha.
And so in many cases you'll see them just below the surface.
Oh.
And the crusty crab, it has a really slow fall, and it is really good. Those fish that are on the pilings, when you see them there, if you can cast it without spooking them, and then when they see it, they will go down there and you can actually watch them. Like earlier, I missed the hook set, but I saw one on the piling, and then I saw it go down, and then all of a sudden it turned, and I saw my line twitch, and then I slowly just felt the weight.
Of a caster, could he?
Slowly felt the weight on him.
Bouncing off. And look at the mold. You can see the mold in between those two pilings.
Yeah, I saw
Cody.
that.
A lot of fish here, a lot of bait here, which is good in the cooler winter months. As you can tell, we've got the rain gear on. It was supposed to be rainy later in the day, and first time this week, meteorologists have been wrong. It's only Tuesday. How deep is it back here?
Probably about 5-6 feet deep.
Okay, still pretty deep. Coming back here towards the very end of the canal. I'm gonna go way up there and see if I can entice anything. Man, a lot of mullet. Look at all that stern up there. See all that, Luke?
Yeah, bunch of mullet.
Crazy amount of fish.
Okay, there's sheepshead. So I see sheepshead on this piling right here.
Ooh, yeah.
It's not a very big one, so I don't know if it might not be big enough to eat this guy. But he just wrapped around the back end of it. It's the piling. Oh, it just stuck out again. And so what I'm gonna do? Oh yeah, there's a bigger one. There's two of them. So what I'm gonna do is cast just a little bit over that piling, and then let it fall straight down. And I'm watching my line. It's all about, you want to be able to know when it's on and when it's not. You want to be able to know that they're on before they know that something's wrong. Oop, I think I just felt a thump. Yep, so I felt a thump. Got him.
Nice, Luke.
Got him. Oh!
I'm gonna go see if I can catch his brother. Oh, you kidding me?
It just got off. But yeah, so this is a super finesse style fishing where you're making accurate cast. If you're more than a foot off that piling, probably won't see it. And you're having to feel and watch for the strike. But it's a lot of fun.
Here, watch your line you're wrapped around mine.
Yeah.
But we're still using the same rod, same reel, same 10-pound braid. Everything else is the same. And we don't have some crazy light action. Ooh, do you see that cast? That deserved a strike. Ooh.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, I switched back to the chase baits. I stopped using that crank. I don't like how that thing casts. So I'll do a review on it later. I was gonna try to do every 3 casts. Oh man, now I'm stuck on this piling.
Oh boy. That's the beauty of Salt Strong Live podcast, is you get to see everything, including us getting stuck.
You don't get stuck every so often, you're not casting close enough.
How we doing?
Yeah, it looks like it's, we might need to shut this camera down if it keeps raining.
Oh, come on now. Worst case, you go underneath the T-top. Let's see.
Or at least shut off till I get my lure off the piling.
We ain't shutting off. The show must go on. That's part of the deal. Viewers at home know that. Oh, I see a sheepy down there.
Do you?
2 of them. See them playing?
Get them.
Let it sink. Let it sink. Let it sink.
Watch that line. Yeah, look for any sort of deviations in that line. Since Joe let it, you really can't let it fall directly without touching it. So I'm gonna go straight down that piling.
Oh, there's one right there. Do you see him?
Oh yeah, two of them.
Two nice ones. Oh, crap. Man, they're
he just
so
spooked
close.
off. Yeah, they just spooked off.
I'm gonna get back there and just see. Dang, those are keeper sheepies.
The dock right here.
There we go. There we go.
Nice.
Yes. Oh, watch your line.
Yeah.
You in it?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. That's how you do it right there, Cody. Come on. Kidding me?
That's funny. We were right on top of that guy. So that's one of the smaller ones.
Yep. But we'll take them. Look at that.
Yeah, we'll take them.
Suck that thing down. I don't know if that's a keeper or not. It looks like might be just short, so we'll get him back. But that was cool. Hit right underneath the dock. Not sure if you caught it on film or not.
Yeah, as long as they don't spook off, they'll hit. Sometimes they'll hit super close like that. In many cases, they are a finicky fish, especially if you get up on the flats. If you try to get them on the flats, you've probably seen that they're very skittish. But when they get up in these canals, they aren't nearly as skittish. And you can go up there and do some close quarters fishing like that. But this is the type of fishing I do just really when it's sloppy out. You can see we have some nasty weather. The cold front just come through, and it's actually kind of coming through right now, really. And the flats are pretty much going to be turned
back
off.
in action.
Flats
Good
will
news
be turned
is-
off. Canals will not. Canals will be pretty consistent.
These little guys, even though they're expensive, they hold up incredibly well. So, I mean, you really catch infinite amount of fish on here. They're not going to tear up this. Even the little small pinfish are not going to be able to rip this stuff off. I mean, it's super strong material. What usually happens is you get it stuck on a piling or a sheepshead wraps you up, because we are using a little bit lighter mono right now. We're using 20 pound. So that's usually when you lose these suckers. Where are you on your left side or?
I'm straight down this piling, yeah, left side.
How's the camera doing there, Code? Oh. All right.
Yeah, and one thing that you can't do with these lures is skip them. If you skip them a lot, when I first started doing this, I was getting really aggressive. Right when I said that, Joe skips a cast. But I was getting really aggressive, where I was hitting every piling, like including the furthest ones I could reach. And so I was doing lots of skips. And what would happen is that on the top part of the material that holds it up on the hook, or really on the little jig head, it's kind of thin. And if you skip it too frequently, it's eventually going to tear, and that ruins the bait. So what I now do is I don't bother skipping. I just cover the outside pilings, and that's it. And I'm catching the same amount of fish, and I'm having way less break-offs. Because before hooking a big sheepshead, if you're 4 pilings in, they fight. Sheepshead don't play around, especially if you get a 20-incher. It's pull and drag. It'll take a turn and get you wrapped up.
It's just falling straight down. Wait for it. Oh, I thought I was going to get a strike on that one. It's just deep enough piling. So have you found that most of them have been on these deeper pilings, the outer pilings, versus?
It varies. I mean, a lot of times, sometimes I get them up on the seawall. Today with this cold front, I think it just pushed everything deeper.
Cody, watch this thing drop. You got it? See the pace that it drops? So it's just going down super slow, just like a normal crab would. And the little legs kind of like wobble as it falls down. It looks really good. But as I said, and Lucas pointed out, you gotta be watching that line. I remember the first time I did it with you, like I was missing them because I was putting way too much line out there, because you want it to scrape down the piling, which means you gotta let some line out. But if you let too much out, that thing will inhale it and spit it out before you even know what's going on. Oh man, right by that piling, I thought that was going to be one.
Yeah, and it's crucial to have a sensitive rod, because it's all about feeling for the strike. Again, as we mentioned, but you're going to have 2 types of strikes. Some are going to be little taps, and there's a little pinfish and snapper going in there and messing with it. And the worst thing you can do is just set it on those, because you're just going to spook everything else around there, because the crabs don't naturally go like that, especially if you do a bill dance hook set like Joe tends to do.
You got to do, more like.
But then when you get the sheepshead, it actually thumps it. I mean, it'll feel sort of like a trout or a redfish, or even like not as aggressive as a snook, but but they actually hit it pretty good, where it's noticeable. A lot of people think that sheepshead have a real tender bite. I disagree.
Seen their teeth? They're human.
Yeah, I disagree when doing this. It is 100% noticeable when you have a sheepshead hit versus that little small stuff that's pecking at it.
Definitely.
And so it's really about feeling for that thump, and then I feel that thump, and then I just make sure that there's a little bit of weight on the line, and then immediately give it to them. Those sheepshead have real tough mouths. Like that one I caught earlier, it was hooked like kind of behind the tooth. And had I had one of those wet noodle rods, as I call them, or if I didn't set the hook pretty firmly, it would have been game over.
Let me use my strong hand. Oh yeah. Oh boy! Wow, didn't see that coming, Cody. That's when you know you got a good cast. It ricochets off 2 boards instead of just one. You also got to be cognizant. Is that a word I'm allowed to use? Is that too big of a word? When you're fishing these residential canals, not to be a jerk.
Yeah, just treat it like it was your own, right? Don't cast around the boats. If somebody's outside, just don't fish their dock, right?
Yep, just skip it.
Yeah,
People out here having coffee and stuff, we always skip it. And if you do happen to get it caught in the dock, sometimes better just leave them a nice lure. So thank you.
Yeah,
don't be climbing on people's stuff.
Yeah, and don't do it unless you're comfortable casting. If you're new to casting, and just go out and practice with other types of fish, and do this once you're more comfortable.
It was cool.
This does require a good cast.
It's cool in the insider community. We had, I won't mention the guy's name, but he's a pretty experienced angler. And he's like, I've one of the mastery courses that we created was called Casting Mastery. It's our least most popular one, and it's probably the most impactful. And he finally went through it. He's like, man, I've been I know how to cast. He catches inshore slams, he knows how to fish. He's like, you know what? I finally had a rainy day, and I decided to go through it. And he's like, that was one of the best courses ever. I mean, we talked about it a lot in the course. I mean, just think what would happen to your fishing game if every cast you could go another 10 to 20 feet in a given day, especially if you're fishing grass flats and even mangler lines, just letting you get further back.
Or even just get more accuracy. Right?
Oh,
For this type of fishing, accuracy is everything. It's not really about distance.
I'm just talking about in general.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the distance, right? You'd be able to outcast your friends, your relatives.
Well, what you want is both. The ultimate goal is to have
the
both.
course teaches both. But he's like, man, that was a game changer just to go through that. Oh, beautiful boat here. Is that yellowfin?
Looks like it.
Ooh. Yeah, you don't see many of the holes painted the blue like that.
Yeah, it's nice. As far as the sheepshead dock, what I like to see, if you look over at this one over here, is all of those barnacles and oysters sticking off those pilings. That is a really good looking dock. That one, unfortunately, is in pretty shallow water. But then even this next dock that we're coming up to with this big boat, it does have some nice barnacles, so that still does look pretty good, and these are deeper. So I actually have a little bit more confidence in this.
Beautiful barnacles.
These deeper. I don't see any sheepshead on there. I'm always looking.
You see that skip there? What's he talking about, Cody?
That's exactly what you shouldn't be doing. That's going to be ripping the thing off. So
oh no, this
don't try this at home.
Tough. That's a beautiful boat. That's the next level there. All right, nothing on that one. Yeah, many times just a little underhand pitch. Let it sink down. Bring the sheepies out. Yeah, it's fun fishing, especially on a day like today when we didn't want to go run out and have to worry about getting stuck in the rain. And do you guys have lightning here the other day?
No.
Lightning storm? Dang, I was in Georgia. I just got back last night. It was crazy. I mean, for February in Georgia to have that bad of a lightning storm, I mean, it was electric. Nuts. It's like that camping trip. It was intense. But yeah, we're pumped to start doing, now that we got the boat. The Pathfinder obviously is full effect. We got the wrap, we're getting it. We're getting speakerfied next, right? Right, Luke? Another week. Oh,
coming up.
so we'll finally have a good sound system. Really scare the fish off. And we'll just be doing more and more of these kind of live on the water fishing report / podcast. Fun for us. And it definitely puts a little pressure on to catch fish, which we've done 98% of the time. We had that one day that it took like the last of 45th
Yeah,
minute.
that was painful.
Jeez, that was painful to watch. It was painful to be a part of. But we also wanted to just be truthful, right? I mean, we're not poo-pooing fishing shows. A few people have commented that. We love fishing shows. We watch them ourselves. We've had most of the top fishing show guests or talking heads faces on our podcast. But, you know, they go out there for basically a 20-minute show, and it takes them sometimes 3-4 days, and it's good. I mean, they're highly produced, and they look amazing. They get all the cool B-roll. But at many times it's kind of more entertainment than education. We wanted ours to be about, we always start entertaining when we're halfway funny guys, but we wanted to be about education and just for the normal angler to go see what it's really like to go fish a spot and to go hit up an entire dock line and catch nothing.
And to show when you get stuck on a pilot.
Yep. And just in watching our self-esteem get lower and lower as this day goes on. We started off money like, oh man, almost like back to back, catching sheepshead underneath the boat, our legs up, like one-handed, and now like, I don't know, this is brutal. I'm gonna go retire and put a pinfish on.
Pinfish?
I'm kidding. I can't even cast now. See what happens, Cody? Jeez Louise. So what's the plan? So we're in the canal, which is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And now we have to make a decision. Do we end it or try to keep fishing a couple more docks here?
Well, I mean, now...
Because we can't make a cut. That's part of the promise.
Yeah, the sun's starting to come out.
Oh, look at that. Sun's coming out.
I'm thinking we might go up on the flats here in a little bit.
Ooh, maybe another podcast episode. I want to try this little floating dock, see what we got over there. Do you ever catch many along these seawalls?
Yeah. The deeper seawalls.
So you can see, Cody, we got a seawall here on a point coming out of this canal where it gets a little bit deeper. And you got big boy Pursuits hanging out here. That's a 35er.
It's a nice boat.
Yeah, it's a beautiful boat. So it's a little bit deeper here. And this is one area where we'd fish the seawalls. Back in there, not so much.
So you never know. I mean,
but it was pretty shallow. I wouldn't make a cast up there. I don't want to lose my $10 crab.
Everything's where the guy, because the sheepshead, they're just moving around. They're moving around and they're stopping when they see food. So there's a seawall. Like, I'm not too excited about this one. There's not a lot of growth on it. But further back, there's a ton of growth on those seawalls. And so absolutely fish those ones with growth. Like those ones dead ahead, we might go over there and fish those next.
I love the flags on here.
Yeah, we'll go skip, check out these. Dead ahead here looks really good.
Guns and guts, God, what made America? Let's keep all three. Kind of tough to argue with that, guys. God, guns, and guts. Yeah, let's keep all three. I'm down. I vote for that. A lot better than all the political crap that's out here. So I think it was funny, during the whole presidency stuff. Luke lives right nearby here, and it was funny, like seeing some of these houses, like they were competing against each other across canal. One would have a monster Trump flag, the other one would have a Biden flag. Now I think they're all gone. Sold on the free market somewhere. Someone on eBay. Whoa! Oh, this dock looks good though.
Oh man, I just had one and I thought it was the.
There it is. There it is, Luke. Self-esteem is back up again. Self-esteem is back up.
Solid one there. A little bit bigger.
Need a net for this one?
Might as well.
Even though you didn't net mine, I'll be helpful. I'll be helpful if you guys are tuning in here. Luke is on a super nice sheepy. JoJo
not a super nice one, just nicer than the fire.
Dude, after the low time that we just had?
Yeah, that's a respectable sheepshead. Crab lure right there in the corner of its mouth.
Heck yeah. What did I say?
Huh?
Right when I said this stock looks good, all of a sudden, boom. And the dog's watching too. Do you see the dog? Dude, he wants to get a piece. That was awesome.
Yeah, so that one...
technically, you probably shouldn't have made a cast over the dog. It's still... Look like a keeper there, huh?
Yeah.
Sheepshead dinner. And since it's my cooler, it looks like I'll be taking some sheepshead home this time.
Yeah, so that little lure, chase baits, sheepy, they love this thing. It is a lot of fun.
So far, have all the
Dinner
sheepshead
time.
been caught on chase baits?
Yep.
And I just said it too. Like, this dock looks like money. Look at him, you can see, you know when you see a good dock, when you got barnacles, old lines hanging in with debris all over it. You want as much structure without getting caught. Look at that cast, Cody. Drop it right to the right of it, let it sink down. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Oh, had a couple little small fish hit and went. You don't want to set the hook on the small guys though. That is one way you could lose part of an arm. Feel weird saying that on a podcast, but. You going back to the spot, Luke?
Yeah, I'm gonna go up. We'll just fish these last couple docks here. They have all this growth on them, and then we'll go hit the flats.
Oh, look at that. Oh yeah. See, like, a lot of times I like to drag it right on by and just entice one of them to come right out and pop it.
Yeah, so that cast I had, it wasn't the best cast, and that sheepshead probably came about 2 feet off the piling to get it. It's rare. Like, usually if you're more than a foot away, like the odds of getting the strike just totally plummet.
Which piling were you on?
On
That one?
that thick one there with all the growth on it.
All right. Drag it by this edge here.
And it hit it twice. So there was a rope that was hanging down, so I thought I was on a little crab trap. A lot of people put crab traps down there, so just keep an eye out for ropes. Because that's a great way to lose a bunch of lures, is to get stuck in a crab trap. Those things are extremely good on snagging lures. And so I thought I was on a crab trap, and then all of a sudden it pulled. You know, I noticed the fish, and then it was off. And then either it or another one came, and I felt that thump. No, that was lucky.
Cody,
lucky.
did you see that? Hit the edge of the dock, pop right off from the piling.
So this sort of seaball right here, I fished the seaball too. Have all that growth on there. Not sure how deep it is up there, but
Yeah, I would wait till a little bit higher tide personally, but you know, you do what you will. You're $12. Whoa. Net's getting excited. We got 2 keepers.
yeah, that's dinner. That's all we needed.
One little dingle hopper. I'm gonna go right in between those 2. Slowly drag it. Slow roll, baby. Wait for the thump. Thumpa thumpa. Maybe they should make the next one thumpa thumpa. Nice little crab.
Yeah, this is just a great way to practice your casting too, just to get good, because it's all about precision casting. Like after doing this for a bit, it is it's
see my
hard.
rod tip?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, something's messing with you.
I think it was a little guy. I did what I just told you guys not to do, which is get real excited. But normally, if there's some bait fish, there might be some sheepies nearby.
Yeah, it's just like getting up on the flats when you have the little pinfish and stuff doing the little taps. Let them keep doing it.
It's tough not to get excited though.
Yeah, just let
And
them
then
keep
all
doing
of a sudden, you know, a good pinfish can give you a quick little tap, and you think it's a real deal Holyfield. It's just a.
But what
False
the
alarm.
reason why, it's not just to not spook everything off, but the reason why a lot of times the bigger fish will get attracted to the commotion, and so when you set the hook, you just scare everything away. But if you just let them keep tapping at it, a bigger fish in many cases will come up and investigate what's going on, and now it thinks that it's stealing an easy meal, right? So its guard is totally down. I've caught some of my biggest fish with lures while the little taps are going on, and then all of a sudden they stop because that big fish scares them away, and then you'll feel that thump. And
It's called the bully method.
yeah, the bully method.
You know, big bully comes up to steal the kid's lunch money, and you happen to be there with a hook.
All right, so I think we should go ahead and end it. So the pilings, so we always try to cover, what to do, but a lot of times what not to do is very important. And so as far as docks, let's look at these docks. So we have this one behind us and the one that we're coming up. The one behind us that you're looking at now has a lot of good oysters on there, a lot of good barnacles, a lot of good growth. And then if we pan forward, seawall looks nice, a lot of stuff on there. And then you come up to this next dock. And
shame on them for getting all new dock pilings.
Yeah.
What are they trying to prevent us from catching fish?
So yeah, it looks like a brand new dock. There's no growth on it, right? So the odds that a sheepshead, which feeds off of all those little barnacles and all that stuff, there's nothing for it to eat.
I'm still going to fish it. The irony is there'll be one down there.
Yeah, you never know. It is, again, it's all about the odds. So statistically, the odds are much less on this dock.
That'd be hilarious if we caught a big boy.
We'll say we go ahead and end it and go do some trout and redfish action.
Yeah, we'll do a little redfish action. So finally, I don't think we ever got to it. Everyone always asks, what are you guys using? Because we're always testing out new stuff. I got still the most expensive sheepshead reel ever made that Dio exists. And TFO, I mean, still, I personally haven't found a rod I like better than this TFO Professional.
For the money, it's hard
for the money, yes, for the overall value. And this is 10-pound line. I got some of the J, dude. Talk about that real quick. The Dio J braid finally beating the Power Pro. Yeah, this J braid, it's called an $8,000. It's their higher end line is testing out really good. I've just done some strength tests on it, but so far it's been the strongest line I've tested. I've been doing these line tests for a couple of years. The 10-pound braid broke at 25 pounds, over 25 pounds. I've never seen that before. Crazy. A 10-pound braid. So that's off to a good start. I'm using normal Power Pro because I was gonna do. Oh, dude! I just had a hit there. It's hilarious.
I was gonna do a test on these two crab lures, but I just wasn't feeling this one from Krusty Krab. So I just stuck with the one that I like best, the Krusty Krab. But both Quantum Smoke reels, the 2500 size, they just call it the 25. Both on bull-based Stealth Sniper rod I've been testing out, and I've got two of them. And so I wanted to do a lure test just to have the same exact setup. Both have 10-pound Power Pro and then 20-pound Andy Mono for the leader. I've totally stopped using fluoro, particularly when fishing around pilings and stuff. This mono is better with abrasion, and so I prefer the mono over the fluoro. That's it.
Yep.
And even though like sheepshead are known to be finicky fish, I can't tell a difference when using mono fluoro, so I just go the mono route.
A whole lot cheaper.
Yeah.
We're gonna do another podcast. Is the fluoro leader line a scam or not?
To be determined.
To be determined, but yes, it is.
And so here's some other crab lures. So we're going to do I was hoping the sheepshead bite would be a little bit better, and I was going to do some trial and error. But we mentioned Savage Gear. So this is the Savage Gear. This is a new one, the blue crab model that I still haven't. Actually, I had one. I used it just for a bit, and I missed one. Had it on. Here's the original one I used. This has been through some battles. Caught a lot of sheepshead on this. It works. And then the rest of these are the chase baits, just so you can see it real close. Nice little compact little crab lure, and they all work. So it's really about just getting out there and just getting soaking.
And all in potentially one of the nicest tackle trays ever made.
Yeah, literally.
Sheesh. Ain't cheap, but doggone.
Had this for a total of about an hour so far, and so far so good.
Show them how to open it one-handed.
Yeah, so this is a very waterproof tray, and the other ones I've used from, I guess Flambeau, I have a couple, and then I've got a bunch from Plano, the original waterproof from Plano, and they have the 3 latches, right, and it's like real heavy click. This has been pretty cool, where to open it, done, like literally one hand, close
Someone
it.
Finally did it.
One hand, yeah, so it doesn't have that real clunky and hard to do thing. It is, it's pretty impressive. I'm actually really impressed with it. So so far so good. But I picked up some of these, so I'll set up the little trays in there and just see how it does. But so far, very, very impressed.
Yep, so guys, that's it. Of course, all of this tackle that we're using can be found at fishstrong.com. That is our online tackle store, and our insider members save up to 20% and sometimes more on every single thing in there. Just one more reason to become a Salt Strong insider. If you like all this stuff, This is just a fraction of what we put out there. We're putting the free stuff out into the public. We save our very best for our insider members, including our on the water, like exactly where we actually show where we're fishing, what was caught, and that's all over the place. We got Wyatt doing it in Texas now. We got Tony on the East Coast, got Austin up in Jacksonville, and of course we're all traveling every week as well. We show everything, including the smart game plan every single week. So it's all this on the water how-to stuff you can't get anywhere else. Most importantly, it's about trends, right?
Yep.
What's working right now? It ain't like a fishing magazine you get 90 days after it was printed, it shows them your doorstep. This is stuff that's working today, right here, right now, in your area. We've got 20,000 members, and there's reason for it. I mean, it's helpful. It's like a family. We have a private online community that's off of stinky Facebook, where we got a lot of issues with just, them taking over the conversations and taking what they want off, showing us what they want to. It's censorship at its worst. And man, I'm just pumped to have it. I'm pumped to get in there every day. We have such an amazing group of anglers in there, super helpful, and everyone's just sharing. Like, they're sharing best practices, best tips. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's just a big community of anglers who are happy and willing to help other anglers. And so no matter what the skill level, we have beginners come in, and then we have full-time guides come in, and they all love it. If you might as a beginner, if you're in there for just a little bit and you actually go through the courses that the Insider Club comes with, and then just look at the trends that we're providing on a continuous basis, you're not going to be a beginner for very long, because it's really about knowing the feeding zones, and not just hey, fish here, but it's why. It's why are the fish there, so that over time you're going to know exactly where the feeding zones are going to be based on the conditions.
Yeah, we still have full-time guides that go through there.
Absolutely.
I mean, most of our members are weekend warriors, a little bit of experience, and even guides, and they're blown away with all the intel in there. So hope you'll join us. That's all at saltstrom.com. And of course, the logical reason is you're going to just save a ton of money and a ton of time. That's the whole point, is to get you on fish faster than ever. And we caught 3 sheepshead on a day that, we haven't seen a single boat. Yeah. We saw 1 dog. No one's even out here today. It's kind of raining, overcast. 3 sheepshead in 30 minutes. And that was with the cameras on. Normally that doesn't even happen.
Stock looks pretty good.
So if you want to catch more fish in less time, save money in your tackle, come join us in the Insider Club. You will love it, and we're so confident you'll love it. We have an unheard of 365-day, 100% money-back guarantee. That means you will catch more fish per trip, and you will save money in your tackle, or you don't pay. Crazy.
Simple as that.
I know. Who would put a guarantee like that? Oh, I tell you who. Guys who are confident their product works. So come join us, saltstrong.com. Join us in the club. And for you current members, I know a lot of you guys listen to the podcast as well. Thank you guys so much. We love you. We appreciate you guys. Are like family to us. We got your backs all the time, all day long. So if there's anything that we can do to help you out, let us know. Especially let us know in the community, where we're now spending the majority of our time. So that's it. If you guys enjoyed this one, otherwise, check us out on the next episode. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening on the podcast, leave us a review, subscribe as well. It helps us out big time to be found in those algorithms, since this is all 100% ad-free. Meantime, we're going to go out there and try to catch more fish and probably do an insider report. So for you public people, you're about to miss out on what we're doing next. Insiders, you're going to see exactly where we are and what we're catching. Peace out.
See ya.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul, it was